Hello? Dallas still stinks. They say winning cures everything. But in Philadelphia, as we just saw, sometimes winning masks some deficiencies. Eagles get humbled in Seattle. They lose 24-10. And now all of a sudden, they got to bounce back and quickly because they play the Rams this Sunday. Number 1, number 2 seed, it's on the line potentially. King Dingbat, Philly 500, is here. I'm Adrian Fedq. He is reporting for duty.
As usual, report for duty. It's eggnog time, yo. Now, we got a situation here. We got a situation where we laid a stinker against Seattle. And now the whole big thing, everything we've worked for in the NFC all year is at risk this week. If we don't win this must-win game, you're looking at no bye week at all. That can't happen. The Eagles have to win this game this week. Most important game of Doug Peterson's career, of Carson Wentz's career. And, hey, look, there's going to be a lot of pressure. We got to get this done. We got to get it done.
Yeah, and let's go back to the Seattle game for a second because there's one thing I'm going to be looking at with Doug Peterson. I want the aggressiveness. I want it back, all right? Because here's what happened against Seattle. He went to Seattle, and he called one of the most conservative first halves I've ever seen. Carson Wentz was 9 of 13 for 45 yards. 45 yards! Ew! Zach Ertz, Alshon Jeffrey combined for 1 target. Ew!
Stinks!
Look at that Seattle defense. No Cam Chancellor, no Richard Sherman. This isn't the same Legion of Boom that we've been accustomed to. Eagles gave them way too much respect. Way too much respect. You are number 1 in the NFL in everything offensively. You don't have to show anybody respect.
Yeah, I agree. And it showed on the first series of the game. When the Eagles had that 4th and short and they decided to punt the ball, that was not what the Eagles have done all year. And to do that really showed maybe the over-respect that they were giving Seattle. And just by doing that, you could tell they were already off of their game coming in. And the whole first half showed that to be true by the play calling. So it was way too much respect. And if the Eagles play their game, they have to be aggressive. They have to be aggressive. Those 4th downs, when you go for it and get it, you always take something out of the other team and give yourself something back. It's always a momentum shift when you can make those. So I think that hurt them right off the bat. And the whole first half really dictated to me that they were off their game.
Yeah. And going back to this, man, we can't be seeing this again. I don't want to see this again. This was essentially a playoff game in a lot of ways. You're in Seattle. You got to experience this. And you see Doug Peterson with this conservative game plan. I don't want to see this in the playoffs again. So I am praying, I am hoping that this was a learning experience for him. Yes, please be a learning experience. You learn from this, you grow from this, and you get better ultimately because of it. Because, listen, I am willing to give him a pass. He's 10-2. Let's not forget that. He is 10-2. All right? Well, the Eagles team is 10-2, led by Carson Wentz. But
there you go.
They're 10-2. If he bounces back, they win in LA. They beat the Rams. They rattle off. They get a 1 or 2 seed, and maybe they make a run in the playoffs. All of a sudden, everything's fine. But I want to see him go back to the aggressiveness. I don't want to see Pussy Doug anymore. Bitch Doug.
Yeah,
no.
Give Doug the doctor referral. Let him go get his prostate exam. Make sure that everything's good, and then get back to regular football. If you beat the Rams this week, then everybody's going to say, all right, that was a little bump in the road, no problem. But if you lose, there's something else going on. There's a problem. So this game is that important. Now, I think that the moment was big. It was new for Doug. It was new for Carson, and I think that they showed it. They showed how young they were. Give Seattle credit. That's a veteran team that has won the Super Bowl. The coach has won a Super Bowl. The quarterback has won a Super Bowl. They've won a Super Bowl. They've been in the playoffs. They know how to handle the situation. I felt like this was really new for the Eagles. Now, if they come back and they beat the Rams, like I said, everything's good. But there's many, many people out there who think that this was just because the Eagles haven't played anybody. They finally played somebody, and we're pretty much done now. So we got to prove them wrong. This game, I can't put enough emphasis on how big this game is this week. It's for like all the marbles. It's for a bye week. You're playing for a bye week. You got to get it done. Get it done.
Got to get your prostate exam.
Get it.
Got to get it done.
Get that exam.
Got to get it done. All right. So let's talk about this now. So Minnesota and the Eagles. So from what I understand of the tiebreaker scenario, so the first tiebreaker is conference record, which they're tied together. Both have one loss to the AFC. I guess the second is the second one the strength of the common opponent or something?
Dude, I thought it was division record. I always thought it was conference, then division record, which I thought we would be ahead because we're undefeated in our division. But apparently it's not. So I don't know if it's strength of schedule. I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
I think it's record against common opponents.
Okay.
Because here's what's going on. So the Eagles and the Vikings, the teams that they've played, both play. The Eagles are undefeated against. The Vikings play Carolina Sunday.
That's right.
So if they lose to Carolina and the Eagles in Minnesota, they both finish with the same record at the end of the year, it would be the Eagles with the bye. And
right.
The Eagles will finish ahead, actually.
Yeah, and the Rams they went to Minnesota and lost, right? Yes. So if we lose to the Rams, they would have another team that they beat that we didn't beat. So this game is doubly important. I mean, this game, got to win this game.
Yeah.
Carolina and the Vikings is a huge game for us. I'm glad it's in Carolina. I think the Vikings, the fans, the team, I think they're starting to run their mouths a little bit. I think they need a little humbling themselves this week. That's what I think.
I don't know why they're talking. I mean, I'm still not like, all right, I like the Vikings as a team, but I don't like the way they match up against us. And I've seen them fail in the playoffs plenty of times now with that defense. They lost to Green Bay. They lost to Minnesota or Seattle. So they shouldn't be talking.
But they are. They are. Hey, look, man, and the thing with Minnesota is if you were in a situation where you had to go into Minnesota, I'm sorry. I do like their defense, but in the playoffs, in the NFL, quarterbacks like Casey Keenum usually put up stinkers and lose. And I think it would happen. They have a good defense. Their defense will keep them in it, but I don't like the quarterback. I'm not a believer in the quarterback. I would believe more in them if they had Bradford playing. Even if they had Bridgewater, I would think more. I like Bridgewater, actually. But the truth is Minnesota, to me, maybe I'm disrespecting them. We'll see. But I don't like the quarterback.
Well, their rebuttal is always, well, Case Keenum is like number 3 in QBR, whatever the fuck it is. Dak Prescott had like the same QBR last year, and I didn't believe in him either. I basically view them the same. All right, so here's what's going on in Minnesota. Here's why Case Keenum is flourishing. So you have a tandem of Latavius Murray, Jerick McKinnon. So they've been able to overcome this Dalvin Cook injury. The Vikings, they run the ball. They're second in the league in rush attempts. So that shows that they like to run the ball a lot. So you establish the run. You open that up for Case Keenum. And that's what's working. And Minnesota has been able to run on everybody so far. They've really improved their offensive line from last year. They made some additions. Riley Reif they signed. He's been incredible for them. So they're running the ball effectively well. And what's happening is Case Keenum, what he does, he doesn't take a lot of shots downfield per se. He'll hit the crossing routes or the post routes.
Yeah.
So he'll hit those. But a lot of it is you'll see Jerick McKinnon on swing routes.
Right.
A lot of stuff in the flats. It's very conservative type of stuff. Yeah. So If you shut down their running game, and Eagles, #1 in the NFL in rush defense. So if you stop the running game, I think you can stop Case Keenum.
Yeah, I
And,
agree.
there you go. So I think that's why I'd rather play the Vikings than a lot of other teams. I just think the Eagles match up well against them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I definitely agree. But, look, that's a big test for them this week because Carolina really needs this game. And so this is an opportunity where the Eagles, if the Eagles can beat the Rams, the Vikings this is not just a walkover, put it that way. They got a tough game too. So hopefully it falls in our favor that Minnesota will lose, the Eagles will win, and we're back, #1 seed. Everything's good. Let's go do this. That's what we got to hope. But really the truth is, if you get a 1 or 2 seed, I think you have a chance. But that bye week is so important.
Yes.
It's just so important. And that's what you really need. So this Rams game, this is why I'm harping so big on this Rams game. The Rams would be tied with us and then have the matched up head to head of beating us. So they would jump to the #2 seed. That would put us at a 3 seed. That's not a good place for us to be. We've played too good. We've played too good all year. We've beaten teams all year to let this thing slip away right now. We got to bounce back. We got to bounce back.
So you look at Minnesota's schedule, and they beat Carolina. They may very well get the 1 seed because
they will.
It's the Bengals at home, at Green Bay, Chicago at home. That's kind of easy pickings. The Bengals have played better as of late, but still, that's a home game for Minnesota. At Green Bay, I mean, who knows if Rodgers will be back.
That's the key. You got to pray that Rodgers comes back for that game. That would be the game I think he could come back for, right? So you got to get Rodgers. If Rodgers plays, Green Bay will win. But if he don't, look, Rodgers is that important,
Well, I don't know if he's going to come back because I don't know if Green Bay's going to be in it. So we'll see.
Your beautiful Cleveland pick today on the sports will not help us.
Well, now all of a sudden I want Cleveland to lose.
Yeah.
I picked Cleveland to have their first win of the season on Sunday.
Good job, man. Congratulations. Hell of a job on Sports Fury. That was a great show, man. You did a great job.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I want to do that again. Yeah,
those guys are good guys. Yeah.
Yes, we were just having a lot of fun with that, cracking jokes the whole time. That was a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I got my deep penetration in there. It was in there. I got it in.
Oh yeah, I heard it.
All right. So next thing I want to get into is a quote from Doug about how winning masks deficiencies, and I like this quote because you know what happens, right? When you win, what happens? So it's funny because I criticized Wentz at times earlier this season, and it's like, well, who cares? The Eagles still won. You always hear that from fans. Well, the Eagles still won. Why are you complaining? The Eagles still won. Why are you complaining? The reason why you complain is for games like Sunday, because we've been starting slow, damn it, for a month now, and it finally bit us in the ass.
And that's my biggest problem of what I've seen: the starting slow. Over the last few weeks, I think they've been a little sloppy coming out. I mean, they had a lot of fumbles, against the Bears in the Bears game, but they've started slow for a few weeks now. And look, with a team like Seattle, that's a hard place to play. But you're right. That is definitely one of the deficiencies that you've seen that has been hidden or masked or glossed over because they win.
Yeah. You know what other deficiency I saw on Sunday? There were a couple other ones. So missed tackles has all of a sudden been a problem over recent.
Yes.
In the running game. They obviously did an outstanding job against Chicago stopping the run, but against Dallas, when Alfred Morris was kind of running a little bit successfully against them, missed tackles, breaking tackles. And then we see Mike Davis, 16 carries for 64 yards. Come on. And the one run he had, we missed 3 tackles.
3 tackles, yeah. I think
that.
Kendricks missed a really bad one, too.
Yeah.
Couple. Kendricks had a couple missed tackles that game that were ugly looking.
You know what's going on with Kendricks now, right? You know why he's struggling now. It's because earlier in the season, when I was trying to explain this to people, that they were using him to his strengths.
Right.
In the A gap, doing what he does best.
Yeah.
But now that Hicks is down, he's forced to more
Exactly.
snaps. So some of those weaknesses are starting to show.
Yeah.
And we saw him in cover. Because, like, people were like, well, why does Kendricks all of a sudden suck now? It's not that he sucks. It's They were able to know how to utilize his strengths earlier in the season. So now we're seeing him get matched up against running backs, J.D. McKissick, and he got burnt. And this is something that other teams are going to do to try to exploit the Eagles now. Because if you look at the Seahawks, in terms of who were catching their passes, it really wasn't their wide receivers. It was their tight ends and running backs. 11 receptions for 128 yards. So you can't do that again. But the problem is without Hicks, this is an area of concern in the Eagles defense. This is the area you have to attack if you're other teams. So running backs come out of the backfield and tight ends. If you have both of that, that's a recipe for success against the Eagles. And that's funny because we just talked shit about the Vikings. But Jerick McKinnon, Kyle Rudolph, that kind of fits that narrative there.
Yeah, that they would be trying to go after Kendricks on that. I mean, Kendricks isn't great in pass coverage. There's no doubt about it. So the Eagles are going to have to figure out something with that. I don't know what, but they're weak and they're thin. They're very thin at linebackers. I wonder if you could almost like get Jenkins and put him on, put him down there and put in another corner, like an undersized linebacker kind of, and let him play in pass coverage situations more and try to, I don't know. They got to figure it out. I don't know what the answer is really. They lost Hicks is a big loss for them because they're thin at linebacker. So,
So going back to the Doug thing that I wanted to talk about. So let me actually pull up his quote now, if I can find it here. All right. So I've talked about – this is Doug Peterson from his press conference on Monday. I've talked about this before. Winning can kind of cover up or mask some things, some deficiencies, a little chink in your armor if there is any. Coaches and players fall into the same boat sometimes. We need games where we get hit in the mouth and we have to fight in battle and scratch. Yesterday's game was one of those games. You just have to understand that the preparation, there's no substitute for preparation and hard work. You can't substitute that. The guys have to know that, and it's my job to make sure that they understand that and how we prepare and how we coach and hold everybody accountable. When I start seeing the same mistakes in ball games that you kind of see during the week, we've just got to get back to the not necessarily the grind, but we've got to get back to just focusing on all of our jobs and owning that. So he started seeing mistakes in practice, and it finally showed up in the game. My question for you, Doug, is if you start seeing mistakes in practice, why didn't you get it cleaned up? But that's just me.
Right. Why wait until you lose? Exactly. But look, it is what it is, right? Get it fixed now. Look, you talked before. If the Eagles could just pull a split out of Seattle, LA, back to back, that they would be fine. And I think that's true. If they beat the Rams, I think we're fine. I think we'll at least get a 2 seed, and we can go from there. But I see this game as a must-win. It's just the biggest game of the year. That's all. Yeah. Biggest game. Well, I'm pumped for it too, man.
It's basically going to be like a home game because
that's the big thing. Yes, that's the big thing.
There's a report I'm reading. Sean McVay is using a silent count during practice, I believe. How about that?
That's bad, dude. That's bad. A silent count at home. Yeah, man. That's hilarious. But look, we need that. You know what I mean? We need whatever advantage helps us. That's fine. Seattle is a tough place to play. Kansas City is a tough place to play. I don't know what LA is. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. I hope the whole place is taken over by Eagle fans. I hope they're loud. If you're going to the game, be loud, be obnoxious, be a pain in the ass. Do what you have to do. Get this team back from LA with a win. Get them back from a win, and we'll get you that 1 or 2 seed. We'll get you that bye week. But they got to win this game.
Go to LA, cause some havoc, and when you get home, make sure you get your prostate exam.
Get that prostate exam. And let me tell you, because King Dingbat keeps telling me, get your prostate exam. But I don't want to get it. I'm not getting it done. But everybody else might need to. But
I'm not gonna.
Doug,
No.
Peter, no. Well, no, I'm not getting it. But look,
No.
here's the thing. Just win, man. This game, I'm nervous about this game. I'm not going to lie. I'm, like, nervous about it. Like, I cannot wait for this game. This is driving me crazy more than the Seattle game because we coming off a loss. I don't like the feeling the week after a loss. I don't like living with this feeling all week. I want this game to happen now. But this game, I'm nervous because, to me, this really tells us what the Eagles are all about. Are they for real or are they not? Are the people who said that this team had an easy schedule, are they right? This is the game that I think really goes one way or the other to telling us.
And you know what I think is going to happen? I think they are as good as the record indicates. I think they're going to win this game. And here's why. So the Rams are 30th against the run in terms of yards per carry. It's like 4.7, I believe. And what they struggle with are on runs on the outside, along the boundaries. So obviously they have Aaron Donald in the middle, and you kind of don't want to run inside. But along the boundaries, you're okay. And the reason for that is this. They've made the transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4. So they're trying to figure stuff out, especially along the edges. You got guys that are playing linebacker that have never played linebacker before. You know, like instead of a 4-3 defensive end, you're trying to play 3-4 outside linebacker. It's a completely different animal. So guys, you know, are struggling. God, like Robert Quinn, there you go. So that's just an example there. But the outside zone, the sweeps, that's the Eagles' bread and butter, and that's what's going to work against the Rams. And why I think they're going to win the game. They're going to run the ball all over them.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, and I don't think Carson Wentz is going to play like he did last week again. That was the first time since week 5 that he didn't throw 2 touchdowns in a game. He didn't look good. He didn't play well. He got it out of his system. He went to Seattle. They got humbled. Carson wasn't ready for that yet. I thought he was. I thought this team was ready for everything. But I was wrong. I was wrong about Doug Peterson. I was wrong. He still called like a game like he did last year. That was last year's Doug. That's what we saw. But I'm confident that they can bounce back. And I'll tell you what, I will give Doug a pass as long as he wins this game and they get some home field. All right? And they get a bye. And maybe it won't be the 1 seed, but if they get a bye, I'll still be happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty much where you are with that. You know, the one thing I'll say about Carson is, to me, he comes off like the kind of kid that maybe he sees something one time, maybe he experiences one time, and he knows how to handle it the next time. Whether he handled it good or bad the first time, the next time, the second time, he's going to do okay, and he's going to know what to expect. So in a weird way, if they come back and beat LA and they go, let's say they get a 1 or 2 seed and we get into the playoffs, he kind of experienced that feeling of a playoff game going into Seattle. That was a playoff atmosphere. That was big time. So I feel like he's the kind of guy that won't make that same mistake again. And I trust him that he will get it figured out. Now, Doug did make adjustments in the second half. He did. Mm-hmm. So that's a good sign. And I agree. I'm not going to harp at 10-2. I can't even believe we're talking about a 10-2, maybe a 10-3 team not being a 3rd seed. That's crazy. This whole conference is crazy. So, look, yes, just I'm not going to harp on blame Doug or Carl. Just get this win, and everything will be okay in my book.
Yeah, just go and get the job done. That's just get the W. Just get it. Take that W and eat it.
Eat it, man. Eat it. That's right. And look, the Saints are another team that we got to worry about. The Saints got a tough game this week. I think Atlanta has to win. They have to win against New Orleans. Otherwise, they're pretty much going to lose a chance at a wild card. I mean, they're fighting for their lives, you know. So I think that Thursday, New Orleans has got a tough road to haul. I think that they can lose, but at the same time, they have a very good running game They have a very good running back. That kid Kamara is awesome. And their defense has been pretty good. So the Saints we need to lose. I feel like we need the Rams to lose. We got to win. We need the Saints and the Vikings to lose. That's the best case scenario for us.
Yeah. And Carolina, or not Carolina, the Saints and Falcons, they play twice in the next 3 weeks. So that's going to really show how good the Falcons are this year. I mean, we thought that they had this glimmer of hope, that they started finding it and putting things together, and then they kind of laid a dud against Minnesota. So and now they're 7-5, and now they're behind Seattle. So the team that I thought would get hot, I was wrong about the team that would get hot. The team that's going to get hot is Seattle. I'm convinced it's Seattle now.
It looks like Seattle is going to make a run. Yeah,
Seattle looks like they might win the NFC West. They might make a huge run right now. And I thought the way that they played was it was telling, and this look at it this way too. See, like they lost 24-10, but I felt like because of the missed opportunities, that's why they lost. They could have very well been in this game. So Seattle played really well. And if it wasn't for the fumble, and if it wasn't for those 2 throws by Wentz, that's 17 points on the field. That's 27-24 Philly. So it goes back to, I don't think Wentz is going to play like this again. That's what it comes back down to. I don't see him playing like that again.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's no reason that we should think that, he's going to have games like that. I think what he's done all season is pretty much what you can expect. And I think he's going to answer the bell this week, going up against the Rams. I think he's going to come back with a big game. And look, it's the team that passed him up in the draft. Does he want to prove something to them? I don't know. But yeah, I think Carson is, I worry about him probably less than anything else on the team. He's the one thing I feel pretty comfortable in my gut feeling about. Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I guess the other thing on the Rams side is this: it's Sean McVay, and we'll see if the Eagles can combat the offense defensively, because McVay, when he was with Washington, always gave the Eagles fits. It wasn't until Sean McVay left Washington that the Eagles could actually beat them. So now he's in Los Angeles, and now back to a former nemesis. So that's it. That's the thing to keep in mind too. Is Sean McVay? He knows this Eagles defense.
Yeah,
and he's going to try and exploit it. So we're going to get his best shot.
Yeah, we are, and I think from a defensive standpoint, I think you can rattle Goff. I think if you get pressure on him, knock him around, I think then he'll be off of his game. I think he needs that time to throw. And Gurley's another guy you got to watch. We got to watch Gurley, because Gurley can do a lot of things. He can catch out of the backfield. He's having a great year. So I think if you get pressure on Goff, I think everything will be fine from a defensive standpoint. I think that's the key, really.
Yeah. I agree with that. And Goff is a guy you can rattle. I believe that definitely for sure. They've had a great offensive line this year. Andrew Whitworth has been a key addition for them, and he's held Goff upright. So
yeah,
but it's going to be key, getting pressure on Goff, definitely for sure.
I can't wait for this game, man. I'm sorry, I just can't wait.
We're not making predictions though. You're going to do your prediction show on Friday. I'll do my show maybe.
Yeah, I'll probably do mine tonight, but I don't know if it'll either come out tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, either one.
Yeah, gotcha. We can make predictions for the other games though, if you want to.
Yeah, let's do some, because look, these games, you can't talk about the division race anymore. You can't talk about the Giants; they stink. You can't talk about the Cowboys; they stink. Even though they actually think they're going to win the division, they're dingbats and they're delusional. And that's what I'm told people. They're in a satanic spell. If any fan base needs a prostate exam, it's the Dallas Cowboys. They need a big one. That's what I'm saying. You can't pick these divisions. I'm sorry, I'm going to rant. I can't help it.
Okay.
Dude, I took a lot of abuse from Cowboy fans this week. They need to shut up.
So the Eagles lose one game and they're out of the woodwork. They should be worried about their reindeer and headlights. Why are they worried about the Eagles?
They think they're going to win they're telling me, they're saying to me, oh, we got a chance to the division. If you guys lose this week, we're going to win the division. You ain't going to lose the division. You ain't going to get the division. We only have to win one game and the division's over. I don't even understand how they could think that. They should have been rooting for us to win. Them Dingbats wanted us to lose.
Idiots.
Man. So, yeah, we can't predict the NFC East. The NFC East is over. Those are boring games. The Dallas Cowboys are boring. They're old. They're nothing. They stink. See you later. Yeah. So we got to talk about these other people like the Vikings and the Falcons games and the Saints. Those are the games that matter.
All right, I got a fun little game for you. All right, so here's what we'll do. We're going to play a little backyard football. We're going to compare defenses. We're going to compare actually, we should probably do this for another show, but whatever. We'll do it now.
Let's give them a little taste.
All right, so let's compare the Eagles defense and Vikings defense. All right, so you got your eggnog. So here's what we're going to do. So we got both defenses in the parking lot, all right?
Who are they again?
Just the Eagles and Vikings.
Okay.
So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to pick players who we think are best,
okay,
right? So if you had the first overall pick between the Eagles and Vikings defensively, who would you take?
Fletcher Cox.
There you go. That's the answer I wanted to hear.
Okay.
All right, because the point about this is this. I think people forget the Eagles' defense is kind of scary, and it's one of the better ones in the league. So Minnesota does boast the best defense in the league, but let's not forget, the Eagles, they could be top 5, top 10 too. So let's not forget about that. So, all right, so you took Fletcher Cox. My number one guy would be that's tough. I would probably go with Harrison Smith, the safety from Minnesota. I'm taking him over Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah. I like Xavier Rhodes. I like Xavier Rhodes a lot.
So you would take Xavier Rhodes?
Yeah.
After?
Did you see the way he played Julio Jones?
Yeah. It was
my God.
So physical.
Yeah.
All right. So then you go after that. So who would you take after that? So, all right. So you picked your second guy. All right. So now we're getting into, all right, so do you want Brandon Graham or Everson Griffin or Eric Kendricks? Which one do you want? I would probably go with Brandon Graham.
I can't argue that. The
way he can defend the run, and he's really getting after the quarterback more this year. He's got 8 sacks, I believe, on the season.
Look at that, 8 sacks. Good for him.
Yeah, I know. Pro Football Focus really loves him every year, and they give him a high rating. But he really is a complete defensive end, and I think he's a little bit more complete than Everson Griffin right now. So that's why I would take him over Griffin.
He may be one of the best run-stopping defensive ends in the league.
He is. He's the best run defender in the NFL.
I think Brandon Graham has come a long way. I think all around, I think he's up there. I agree with that. Even though he may not always get the sack numbers, he does so many other things well. And dude, I mean, Nigel Bradham, to me, has been spectacular this year. I think, especially when Hicks went down, I really like Bradham a lot too. But I don't know if I could put him up there. I would say Brandon Graham is a good pick.
Okay. So that's the fourth guy. After that, who would you take? Would you take somebody on Minnesota before the Eagles?
Yeah, I might take Eric Kendricks. I like him a lot.
All right, so you would go Kendricks.
And we don't have a linebacker yet, so right? We didn't take a linebacker, so.
Yeah, and then I would go Griffin. So now you're getting into – all right, so this shows that – all right, so the Eagles, they have the players. They have the pieces. They have the big names. But when you start looking at, some of the other names, the Vikings do have a better defense overall. So as you can see, we're picking now you took Kendricks. I took Everson Griffin. So, and then the next pick would be who?
Probably Bradham. I probably would take Bradham.
You would take Bradham. Okay.
Bradham or Malcolm Jenkins. Well, if you're taking positions or just overall, but I would probably take Bradham.
I would probably take another Viking. I'd probably take I like their other defensive end they have, Daniil Hunter. I think he's a beast.
I would take the way Bradham. To me, I would take Bradham. I feel like I would take Bradham. I'm in love with Bradham though, so I may be biased.
Right. I would take Hunter over Bradham, but then after I take Hunter, then all of a sudden, I'm taking Eagles guys, Jenkins, Bradham. There you go.
And, well, I'll say this: I think that having the quarterback is good for the Eagles. I think the Eagles' offense is an advantage for the defense. Do you know what I'm saying? They can put points up, they can score, and that helps the defense. They
can manipulate style of play if they can get off to a good start. Yeah. And that's what the Eagles' offense has been doing. Well, they had been doing that until the last couple of weeks. But that little exercise, I just wanted to show you guys, Eagles and Vikings defense not really that far off. And we know that the Eagles have a better offense in Minnesota. So if they did match up, as we can see, I think the Eagles match up well on paper.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. I agree 100%.
All right. Do we want to do a Dingbat of the week?
I think we both probably are going to talk about the same guy.
Chip McApoo?
Yeah, that's it. He should just win the whole thing this week because this will be like his third time, I think. He may be on a fast track to Dingbat of the Year.
Well, we are going to have a Dingbat Awards.
Yes, we're going to have awards.
So we're going to have a Dingbat Awards. And right now, Ben McAdoo is the front runner in the clubhouse for King Dingbat of the Year.
Yes, he is. He is. That guy is my Dingbat of the week. It has to be.
What an idiot. What an idiot. Oh.
That guy thought he was the big honcho. You know what I mean? He got his hair all slicked back. I mean, he thought he was amazing. He thought he was hot stuff. Stinks. He needs a prostate exam. I'm so glad that the Giants fired him for the Giants. I personally wish they had given him an extension, but hey, what are you going to do?
All right, so I'm actually looking at some comments. People think we're being homers on the defense thing. Okay.
Fair enough. Maybe.
I mean, I think people don't understand how good the Eagles defense is. I think that's what it is. So we got Vikings fans in the chat, dude. So all of a sudden the Vikings fans have come out of the woodwork. Where have you guys been all year? Where have you guys been?
Where have they been? Who is it? Give me some of the names of the Vikings. I want to see if I know any of them.
I think it's just one guy, really.
Oh,
guy named Jim.
Jim. Yeah, Jim. Shout out to Jim. Jim's good. He's a mod on the Sports Fury. He's a good guy. Okay. He's a Vikings fan. Me and him have we're gonna have a little wager against the Vikings, I believe.
Nice. All right.
So, but he's a Vikings fan.
I don't know who Shooter McGavin is, but Shooter McGavin is calling us biased, but I don't care.
Well, look, what are we? 10-2 also. I mean, it's not like we've been crap all year. How are we? We're 10-2 also. We didn't play anybody. Oh yeah, that's weird. We didn't play anybody, but we're 10-2. I think our defense has been fantastic. I think the Vikings defense has been fantastic too. But I don't know. I'd like to think I'm not as biased, but I could accept if that's their argument. Then
people are just going to call bias just to call bias. That's what happens. That's what people do.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch the games every week. I break down the film. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So when I'm comparing these defenses, I'm giving you a neutral point of view.
I thought we took a lot of Vikings, though.
We did take a lot of Vikings. All right, so here's what it was. It was Fletcher Cox was first. I don't know how you can argue Fletcher Cox not being the best. Yeah. Number 2 was Harrison Smith. That's a Viking. Number 3 was who? Brandon. Actually, wasn't he?
I took Xavier Rhodes.
All right, so number 3 was Xavier Rhodes, and then it was Brandon Graham. So 2v2, and then it was a run of Vikings. It was Hunter. It was who else did we?
Eric Kendricks.
Eric Kendricks. So it was a lot of Vikings.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, should we just say every Viking's better? Maybe they're being homers. Not us.
Maybe they're being. I don't know. I don't know if Shooter McGavin is a Vikings fan or not. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know who this is.
I think the Vikings have a great defense. You know, I give their defense all the respect in the world. Their problem isn't
biased because we didn't talk about Xavier Rhodes. We talked about Xavier Rhodes.
No, it says Xavier Rhodes. I said I love Xavier Rhodes. Did you see what he did against Julio Jones?
Yeah. Yeah, we just talked about that. I don't know. Whatever. All right.
I love Xavier Rhodes is a beast, man. The guy's awesome. You know,
he's very underrated.
I love that kid. That kid's great. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there you go.
But their problem is quarterback. Their problem is quarterback. In the big game of playoff, Casey Keenum is gonna shoot. He's gonna stink it up. I mean, that's what's gonna happen. That's what always happens to these journeyman quarterbacks when they get to the playoffs. 9 out of 10 times.
We gotta see him play a game where the run is off, where they're not running the ball well. That's when I want to see Case Keenum.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's all great and dandy when you're running for over 100 yards between McKinnon and Murray, and the play action is wide open to Adam Thielen over the middle. I mean, this Case Keenum isn't doing anything that Sam Bradford wasn't doing earlier this season.
No.
Sam Bradford was actually playing better than Case Keenum before he came in. Yeah. So they're running the ball very well. They have a good offensive line, and they have great receivers in Thielen and Diggs. So I think it's more the talent at wideout and them being able to run the ball than it is quarterback.
Yeah, I love Stephon Diggs. I wanted the Eagles to draft him. So, I like him, but to me, it's the quarterback. That's the biggest problem and the biggest mystery of the Vikings. If Bradford was the quarterback, if Bridgewater was the quarterback, I would be a lot more scared. But that's my biggest thing with the Vikings. But their defense is great. Their running game is great. They've got a great coach.
Yeah. Just think about what I just talked about, right? So you guys have wide open receivers running across the middle on these play actions. If you stop the run, all of a sudden those windows are a lot tighter. And that's how you really judge a quarterback. Can you fit balls into tight windows? That is how you judge quarterbacks. Case Keenum, I haven't really seen it.
Yeah. And look, he can get out of pressure. He's mobile enough. He runs on his feet good too. So, let's see what they do against Carolina. I think that'll be an interesting test.
I think this is one where they might struggle to run it because Carolina's healthy. They got Luke Kuechly back. They have Thomas Davis, Shaq Thompson. In terms of their yards per carry, Carolina is actually not that great this year, but obviously they've missed Kuechly for a couple games back. It's different. So if Carolina can stop the run against Minnesota, this could be the game to see if Case Keenum can get the job done. But in his defense, Carolina's corners aren't that great. So he might be able to.
Yeah. Hey, look, we'll see. Like I said, if Minnesota beats Carolina, I will say that they looked good. Maybe they're better than what we are. We'll see. Let's see what they do.
Yeah. Someone says guys worse than Keenum have won at a rate he's playing.
Who?
Okay, but I think the point is are we really going to see this in the playoffs?
Usually guys like Keenum get to the playoffs and then they throw up a stinker. It usually happens 99% of the time. What quarterback's worse than Keenum have won Super Bowl?
Well, here's the other argument that I've made. All right, so you have had quarterbacks as bad as Case Keenum wins Super Bowls, Trent Dilfer and all those guys, Brad Johnson. But here's the difference between those defenses were elite Super Bowl Hall of Famers on these defenses.
Right? All-time great defenses.
All-time great defenses. This is a little bit different of a situation than this Minnesota defense. It's a great defense, but it's not one of the best defenses.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
That's the difference between those quarterbacks and this one.
Yeah.
Great defense. Don't get this mixed up. But there's no Ed Reed out there. There's no,
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. You look at that Tampa Bay defense. Derek Brooks.
Warren Sapp.
John Lynch. Warren Sapp. Where's your Warren Sapp? Where's your Derek Brooks? You think Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr is Derek Brooks?
Yeah.
No. Harrison Smith is Ed Reed.
Yeah. I agree. But look, you play the games to prove us wrong. I mean, they could be great. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're wrong about the whole team, and they'll prove it. Let them prove it. But to me, when I think about it in my gut, I don't worry about them as much as I worry about Seattle, LA, or New Orleans.
Yeah,
I don't.
Case has great numbers. You can keep thinking about numbers. All right, numbers don't mean anything, dude.
I don't care about the numbers.
Numbers don't mean anything. They really don't. It's about efficiency, and again, if receivers are running wide open because your running game is on point, any quarterback can make a throw to a wide open receiver. And again, we saw Sam Bradford did just as well. So is it really the quarterback or is it Pat Shurmur?
When you play in the playoffs, you know this. Everything gets a little faster. Everything gets a little smaller. Windows get smaller. Everything gets tighter. Everything gets harder. You're going to have good quarterback play in the playoffs. I believe that. I don't believe in this conference with the teams that we have out there, teams that can move the ball like Carson Wentz, Drew Brees. You're going to have good quarterback play. Can Casey Keenum do it? I don't know. But I think it's a valid question to ask if he's real. I think it's valid. I don't think you can just look at his numbers and say, because these numbers are great, he's going to be fine in the playoffs. It doesn't work that way. You know it and I know it. The playoffs are totally different beast. Totally.
If we've seen an example of why numbers don't mean anything, it's Dak Prescott this year.
Yeah. Exactly.
No Zeke. Now all of a sudden, look. Yeah. So you take that running game away, and they struggle to run the ball. Can Case Keenum win you a football game? I don't think
that's my point. You said it perfect.
Look, he's playing well, all right? But come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to trash Minnesota. I'm not trying to trash them.
This guy saying Case is playing Brady like in 2001.
Not even – no.
But listen, that again, it goes back to that defense. They had Hall of Famers on that defense.
But what happened in the playoffs? Brady had to make last-minute drives, right? Even to Oakland with the fumble, then in the Super Bowl, right, to get into position to win it. The quarterback, Brady, had to win those games. Brady was not, he wasn't throwing 30, 40 touchdowns, but Brady still was in the fourth quarter when they needed the last-minute drive. He was still cool as ice. That's what we have to see from Keenum. I don't think he's playing like Brady, because when I think of Brady in that year, I think of Brady in the playoffs against Oakland with the last drive in the snow, against the Rams, late in the fourth quarter. That's the Brady I think of in 01 or whatever,
Yeah, that was a great defense. Obviously, you had Ty Law on that defense. I mean, Ty Law is better than anything Minnesota has, so I don't see that argument either. So there you go.
All right, and I don't want to trash Minnesota. Believe me, I'm not trying to trash them.
We're just trying to separate Super Bowl elite defense between that and great defense. So we're not trashing them at all. We're calling them a great defense. When we did the backyard football exercise, we picked Vikings over Eagles, but we were still called bias.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
I don't know. Look, the great thing is they're going to prove it, right? Minnesota's going to have to go out there and they're going to prove it. They beat everybody. They whip up on the Eagles. Hey, man, I'll give them the credit. There's no – you know me. I'll get on there. I'll give a speech on my channel about how great Minnesota is. I would love to do it, but they got to earn it. To me, he hadn't earned nothing yet. So I'm not going to just say, oh, Keenum has great numbers, therefore the Minnesota's a threat. I think that they don't win the Super Bowl. I don't think they can go far in the playoffs, because I don't believe their quarterback is good enough. That's why I think Minnesota will lose.
Look, he's had a career year. He's had a great year for him. But, again, I've seen this script so many times.
So many times.
We'll
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Because I saw something in the Detroit game that I didn't like when in the second half. And they started pressuring him up the middle. Because he's able to bounce stuff and get off the outside. But if you kind of collapse the pocket and try to make him work it, not as successful. And that's Dak's problem. That's what Dak struggles with. So you got to find the weaknesses on Case, you exploit it, and you stop the run, and you should be able to beat Minnesota.
I agree. I agree.
All right. We did our dingbat. we'll do final thoughts and we'll get out of here.
Okay, so my final thoughts are this. Must-win game. It's that simple. Must win. You have to win this game against LA, or everything we thought we had going for us going to playoffs could be at risk. We'll still get into playoffs, but it's a much harder path. You got to get that bye week. So this, to me, is must-win territory.
Yeah. I also see another comment about Eagles easy to be fantastic against garbage teams. Do you think Carolina is a garbage team, Philly 500?
I do not. I think they're a good team. They're a playoff caliber team. What are they, 8-3?
Beat them? I'm trying to remember.
They're 8-4, right?
They are 8-4. I don't remember if we beat them or not. I've CTE.
No, I don't remember if we beat them either. Wait, let me think.
We haven't beaten any good teams this year. None.
Nobody. None.
Terrible.
No. We blow teams and we put our backup players in by the fourth quarter every week. But we don't play anybody good. But it's not like we're squeaking by these teams. We don't squeak by these teams. We blow them out. You know what I mean? And as good as Seattle played this week, like you said, as good as Seattle played, there are plays that we left on the field. If we played our best, that game would have been close. We played bad, and they played their best, and we still were in the game for most of the game. So I think that kind of talk is why they have to win on Sunday. That's why they have to beat LA, because this is all you're going to hear. If they beat LA, it'll be like, well, they finally beat one team, good team. But they got to beat LA because that's what people think, that they have beaten nobody.
Yeah. Well, hey, if that's what they want to think, if that's what helps them get by, hey, cool. Word.
Hey, that's fine with me. Give us the bye week. I just want the bye week.
Yeah. All right, my final thought. I really don't have any, but other than go check out the Sports Fury. I appeared on their pick show this week. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but yeah, I was on their pick show. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to come on again. So we did that last shot.
Award-winning performance. It was beautiful. You did a great job.
Thank you. So yeah, I was cracking jokes. I was just randomly saying deep penetration. I don't think they were picking up on it. I was just hey, they were just talking randomly. I'm just like, deep penetration.
Jeez. Yeah.
I was acting like a dingbat.
You were a dingbat, yeah. That's it. Yeah, that was good, man. It was a good video. I enjoyed it. And definitely everybody go check him out on Sports Fury.
There it is.
Definitely.
All right, so that's Philly 500. I'm Adrian Fedque. Also, I'll give another shout out to make sure we meant to do this in the beginning and we forgot, but make sure you sub up Spunky 1991.
Spunky 1991.
His other one got taken down, unfortunately, but he's got a new channel, and he's a great kid. He's a very knowledgeable fan, so make sure you sub him up. And also make sure you sub up. I'm going to give a shout out to Chris the Beast as well, because I'm going to be on his pick show. And I want to see you guys sub him up too, because actually I think he's the Sunny Eagle now.
Sunny Eagle now. I didn't realize that first too, but definitely I watch all his stuff. He's very good, and he definitely deserves a lot more subs, Sunny the Eagle. So definitely go check him out too.
Yeah. All right. So check those guys out. And this guy is back for more. Y'all don't know how Wentz going to play in the playoffs either. Okay, cool.
Fair enough.
See what happens, man.
Yeah.
So, so the people are out against the Eagles' schedule, and people are saying
here's the other thing. No matter what happens, everybody knows where to find us. You know where to find Bitter Birds. You know where to find King Dingbat. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to hide if the Eagles lose. If they lose, come find me. I will eat whatever crow I have to, but I'm here. You know where we are. When we beat people, everybody disappears. You know what I mean? But win or lose, we'll be here. You know where to find us.
Usually guys like Wentz first time in playoffs stink it up. Do MVPs stink it up in the playoffs?
I don't know any that did.
Well, I know that Peyton Manning normally stinks it up.
Peyton did. Yeah, Peyton did.
So, but I don't necessarily believe that.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger won his first playoff game, right?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson beat the he won his first. I think he beat the Redskins in his first playoff game, and that was 2 years before he won a Super Bowl. He won it in his second year. You had Big Ben won it in his second year. So look, it can happen.
Yeah. So I don't see that point. Yeah, like quarterbacks like Wentz, what's that supposed to mean? So elite quarterbacks don't do well in the playoffs? Okay. All right. We'll end it on that note.
All right.
That's 500. I'm Adrian Fedke. We're out.
See ya.